was involved in a non-fault accident in my works van. My broker put me on to an accident management company who subsequently provided me with a hire van. And within a week of having the hire van, I pulled up from coming home from work, and within 15 minutes I heard the alarm going off, looked out the window, and the van's on fire. I'd subsequently loaded all my equipment in the back of it. I had screwdrivers, keys, loads of equipment in the front as well as the back. Obviously, I called the fire brigade. I had a lot of equipment, to cut it short, that was completely damaged and destroyed in the front, and all smoke-damaged equipment in the back. I contacted the accident management company. They were quick to respond. They sent a tow truck out, or a recovery truck, removed the fire damage vehicle and sent me another vehicle the next day. I put in a claim for losses. They said we'll have to get the van looked at by an independent assessor who specialises in this kind of fire. And it took weeks and weeks and weeks, and they eventually sent me a text, and I mean a text, not an email, saying the assessors couldn't ascertain where the fire started in the engine, so therefore we're not liable for any of your losses. So where does that leave me?
Interesting. Well, of course they're liable. They wouldn't be liable if you started the fire, obviously. The fact that they can't work out how the fire started doesn't relieve them from liability, assuming it was insured against that risk, and I'm sure it was. The only purpose of an examination from the loss assessors to try to find out where the fire started or how the fire started is for them to try to get out of paying out under the policy. That's the only reason. The fact that they can't tell how the fire started does not give them the right to get out the policy. It proves that they don't have a right to get out the policy because they don't have an explanation for the fire that's your fault rather than the car's fault or somebody else's fault. So I would just go back to them and say, get stuffed. If you don't pay up, I'm going to sue you.
I have multiple times, and I'm getting nowhere.
Sue them.
Really? So how? I mean, how do I do that? Through a small claims court?
How much is it all worth? How much was your equipment worth?
With the fire damage stuff as well, that I haven't even sorted stuff, I'm looking at about $6,500.
Okay.
I spoke to solicitors that I know, and they say, unless it's over 10, 20,000, we're not interested.
Well, under 10,000 is the small claims limit, and the reason that solicitors won't be interested in a claim under that amount is that you don't get your legal fees back if it's worth under 10,000. So that means the solicitors wouldn't get paid unless you paid them directly, and they're probably going to want to charge you pretty much all of that £6,500 for taking a claim. So they know there wouldn't be any point in you using them.
So is that the best way, is to go through a small claims?
Go through the small claims court, do it yourself, don't use lawyers. The claim isn't big enough to use lawyers. And I suspect the moment you put in a formal claim form and a particulars of claim, and you can look up on the internet how to do that, the insurers will capitulate and pay you all the money because they're just trying it on, Paul. They totally are.